comes into your mind when you hear the word radiation? Hmm. Well, when most people hear the word radiation, they often think of atomic energy, nuclear power, and radioactivity. But that's not the full story. Radiation is an energy in motion in the form of waves or streams of particles. There are many kinds of radiation all around us. Sound and visible light are familiar forms of radiation. Other types include ultraviolet radiation that is emitted by the sun and artificial sources such as tanning beds. And also infrared radiation, which is a form of heat energy and radio and television signals. There are two types of radiation, ionizing and non-ionizing radiation. Ionizing radiation is any electromagnetic or particulate radiation capable of producing ion pairs by interaction with matter. It consists of directly or indirectly ionizing particles or a mixture of both. This comes from X-ray machines, nuclear reactor, and radioactive materials. Ionizing radiation has many beneficial applications, including uses in the medicine industry, agriculture, and research. Non-ionizing radiation. It refers to electromagnetic radiation that does not have sufficient energy to ionize atoms or molecules. Instead, the energy is converted to heat, and depending on the exposure time and the energy concentration of the radiation, it can lead to burn. Non-ionizing radiation usually comes from microwaves, sound waves, light, radio frequency, and electromagnetic field. Biological effect is classified into two types, stochastic effect and deterministic effect. Deterministic effect are short-term adverse tissue reactions resulting from a dose that is significantly enough to damage living tissues. Individuals who experience the physical effect of this cell death do so when it is large enough to cause significant tissue or organ impairment. Stochastic effect are probabilistic effects that occur by chance. An extremely rare stochastic effect is the development of cancer in an irradiated organ or tissue. The probability of occurrence is typically proportional to the dose received as well as to severity. Radiation-induced malignancy refers to cancers caused by radiation such as bone, lung, thyroid cancer, and etc. Radiation-induced cataracts. The lens is the most radiosensitive structure of the eye, and cataract is a well-recognized long-term consequence of radiotherapy. Skin injury or cutaneous radiation injury happens when exposure to a large dose of radiation that causes injury to the skin. Radiation-induced mucositis is a common complication of cancer therapy which significantly affects the mucosa and is commonly observed in mouth. Why radiation protection? Well, this is to reduce the probability of stochastic risk at an acceptable level and to prevent deterministic effects. In radiation protection, there is one golden rule, and that is the ALARA principle. ALARA principle is a philosophy necessary to maintain personal exposure or the release of radioactivity to the environment well below applicable limits by means of a good radiation protection plan through education, administrative controls, and safe lab practices. There are three principles of ALARA, and these are time, distance, and uses of shielding. Radiation safety and protection. For medical workers, they are required to put protective devices such as lid apron, lid flaps, gloves, mask, eye protector, mobile lid barrier, and thyroid collar during radiographic procedure. For patients, it is a must to follow the ALARA principle by maximizing the tube distance, minimizing exposure time, and use shielding to prevent further risk. Lastly, for the public, it is our responsible to be aware of radiation application or radiation warning symbol and follow the basic principles of radiation safety. Radiation is not harmful as you know. However, as radiation utilization increases, so does the potential for health hazards if not properly used or contained.